Hello, my name is Paula, and today I want to talk about a really important issue that affects a lot of young people, especially in minority communities: trauma and violence. It is something that often gets overlooked, but it has a huge impact on mental health and the overall well being of these youth. I'm also going to share the work of an inspiring organization called Youth Alive and how they're making a real difference in Oakland, California. To start, many young people grow up in environments where violence, things like bullying, domestic violence, and shootings, um, is part of their life daily. This constant exposure leads to trauma, and trauma, as we know it, can cause long lasting effects like depression, anxiety, and even post traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. Research from the Center on Juvenile and Criminal Justice highlights just how severe the impact of trauma is on youth, specifically the minority youth who end up in the justice system. It doesn't just affect their mental health, it also affects how they behave and how successful they are in school and later in life. If it is left untreated, the trauma these youth experience can lead to more crime within the minority communities. And that's why trauma informed interventions are so important. A study published in the Journal of Child and Adolescent Trauma really drives this point home. They explain that the need for trauma informed approaches that include proper staff training and system wide reforms aimed at reducing the re traumatization of youth and supporting their healing. So instead of focusing on punishment, these approaches focus on rehabilitation, which is key to breaking the cycle of violence. This is where Youth Alive steps in, right? They provide crisis intervention, trauma counseling, and they advocate for policy changes to help prevent youth violence. They've been around since 1991, and their mission is all about breaking the cycle of violence and trauma. They've had some big wins too. For example, they've helped push for the law in California called AB 1929, which allows California's medical program to fund violence prevention services. They also helped push for AB 28, which uses taxes on guns and ammo sales to fund school violence prevention programs. While they are doing amazing work, there are some challenges though. Most of their funding comes from grants, donations, private contracts, and unfortunately, they can be pretty unpredictable. If they lose that funding, it could impact the services that they offer. And just like the Center on Juvenile and Criminal Justice points out, consistent, reliable funding is essential for sustaining trauma-informed programs that can continue to heal and support the youth. That's why I think that finding new ways to fund their program is very important. It would allow them to keep going and even expand what they do. One idea for them is to strengthen their digital presence. Right now, the organization Youth Alive is mainly focused on Oakland, so they mainly serve Oakland, California. But with stronger digital tools like virtual support groups or other online resources, they could reach youth in other cities who might need help. They could also reach like more investors or more people to donate. And again, research supports this idea, noting that expanding access to services through digital platforms can help overcome barriers to reaching underserved youth. So to wrap it up, Youth Alive is already making a big difference in preventing violence and healing trauma among youth in Oakland. But with more stable funding and stronger digital outreach, they could do so much more. They could do even more and reach even more lives. It's all about making sure that support is available wherever it is needed and making sure that it lasts for generations to come. That is all I have. Thank you for listening.